with that person, you become one. So if they cannot get you, they will get your wife. If the wife is not prayerful, and you find situations where people say, my best friend slept with my husband, or my best friend slept with my wife. Why? Because this person was not even interested in your husband or in your wife. They were interested in getting access to you, but you were difficult to access, so they used your husband or your wife to access you. Now when they do that, now they are able to have, because when you have sex with a person, it's two spirits coming together and becoming one. So these people, because they are spiritual, they will be able to access the other person's spirit using this one. That's why even if you break up with somebody, if you had a covenant with sex with that person, it's very possible there are high chances of that person going back because of the covenant, the spiritual covenant that they have. Even if the person hurt you, if you don't put boundaries, if you don't guard yourself, it's very easy for you to go back to that person because of that soul tie. So now, if your enemy sleeps with your wife or with your fiancé, or they have now access to you through this person, and they can easily do whatever they want to do, because now there is a door that has been opened. That's why if you're spiritually strong, it's very important to also keep your partner in the same prayer line. Like, don't pray alone, pray with your partner. Don't read the Bible alone. It's always good as a family to read the Bible together, to have family time where you fellowship, so that you support each other as a couple. Because the enemy looks for any door, that he's so desperate that if he wants somebody's star, he can do anything to get it. So now what they do is, when they have access to this person, now they start frustrating everything. You see, the marriage goes down, the plans go down, whatever you've decided to do. Also, you start having strife in a family, a family that's supposed to maybe do business together. Like, I'll give an example. There is a prominent couple here in Kenya. They are successful a successful businessman and woman. And what the enemy did, he planted somebody in there, and now the couple is separating. They are having a divorce. But what happens when they are having the divorce? The children are affected, the business is affected, the friendship between the families, the two families, is also affected. It's like everything that they built together as a couple is going down. And that's what the enemy wants, because even in business, they have competitors. They have people who desire to have what they have, but they couldn't. So what they needed to do is to plant an agent, and that agent comes to just destroy. She's not even interested in the man. She's on a mission. And what the man does not understand is that life is spiritual. He thinks he got a more beautiful lady than the wife, or a more maybe understanding woman than the wife. But what he doesn't know, that the enemy plants somebody to destroy him and to put him down. So you see that the business is now not the way it was. The woman is fighting for some shares and some properties. The man is also fighting the energy that they would have used to build what God has given them, because their star is bright as a couple. That's why they are excelling in that business. Their star is bright, but because the enemy entered through the other partner, now everything is going down slowly by slowly. So now, I noticed also the other thing that people should be cautious about is masturbation. Just like if a person can use your partner to have access to you, in the spiritual realm, the enemy understands that sex is not just for pleasure. He knows that sex is also something that God created for couples, so that they can reproduce and also be productive together. So there is a blessing that comes if it's done the right way, with a husband and a wife, not with a man and a man, woman and a woman, or friends that are just looking for pleasure. But if it's done in the godly way, the way God ordained it, the couple is supposed to be provided for with their energies. They become one, so they are able to be provided for, and they are able to get ideas to create wealth. They are able to plan together and grow together as a couple. So what the enemy does, he takes advantage of this person, and then he because of what they allow themselves to watch, especially the content that they feed themselves on. You listen to music that is engineered from the kingdom of darkness, what will come in your spirit is what you've been paying attention to. So the spirits of lust travel through some music, through movies, through pornography, and the enemy is so strategic that there is pornography almost everywhere. Even if you're careful and you just scroll on your Facebook or on your YouTube, still something will pop up that is not godly. And when that image comes into somebody, it's very easy for the enemy to mess up with that person and cause the person to masturbate. And when that is done, there are energies that are being stolen, because a person like my grandmother did not have blessings because she was serving in the kingdom of darkness. The enemy cannot clearly give you what he doesn't have, but what they do, they manipulate people and steal their energies and give those energies to their clients and also make a living from that. So keep their clients in covenant and keep them also serving or satisfying their debt, and once that is done, they are also surviving. So the enemy can only have access to a person if the person opens their life to him. But it's very important that you guard your heart and you also don't defile yourself, because when you defile yourself, you give chances for the enemy to rob you of your glory, of your destiny, of your blessings, the things that God has provided to sustain you in life. Then you start struggling, but you don't understand why you're struggling. And they also have the ability of triggering through your bloodline. They can go through your bloodline and then they read your DNA. So they know that in this bloodline, they have a weakness. Maybe their weakness is women, because I'll give an example of our family. Our family, my grandfather was a man of women. He had over 40 children. He had 9 wives. And then my other grandfather on my mother's side also had about 6 wives and many children. So if the enemy wanted to fight me and I'm not strong, he will just use the weakness in our bloodline, which is women and lust, And my grandparents were lifeists. They were financially okay, but what brought them down is their lifestyle. So what he'll do, he'll just trigger that, light that fire. And if he finds that I am not grounded in God, if I'm not prayerful, he can use that as my downfall. So I'll give an example like David. When the enemy wanted to have access to him, to tap into what God has given him and to destroy it, he used his weakness. He checked in his bloodline. He saw, there's a prostitute in his family background. In the past, there is this. So he waited for him when he was idle. He was not, the people were fighting. Israel was at war. He was not supposed to even be there in the first place. He's a king. He's supposed to be cheering the armies and guiding them and praying. But he was just idle, walking, and then the enemy set him up with a woman, Bathsheba. So because of the weakness and the advantage that the enemy took, the fact that David was not doing anything, the enemy set him up with a woman. And once David fell for that, that was the beginning of trouble in his home. This was supposed to be a king who is supposed to leave inheritance for his children. They were supposed to be kings, and they were supposed to be a peaceful home that is going to rule Israel for, God had given them Israel. So the enemy saw that star and he wanted it. But how would he get it? He checked the DNA and he used that as David's weakness, and he got him. So even when we are praying, we have to pray that God disconnects us from anything that is in our bloodline that could be triggered and used for our downfall. Because just a person can be at the peak of their career, and then the enemy just uses one weakness and the person goes down. Maybe their weakness is anger. You're at the peak of your career, you're a politician, and then the enemy will just enter one woman to say something that will piss you off, and you punch her in front of, when the cameras are on, and that will be the beginning of the downfall of your career. All the women start rioting against you, they start hating you, and before you realize, no votes, and you've been taken down, your career has been messed up. So they would use all those things, and some of, the thing is, Satan doesn't have power, but he uses, the Bible says that my people perish due to lack of knowledge. When you have no idea of what you're dealing with, it's very easy for the enemy to take advantage of you. So the other thing, or the other way a person can know that in our family there are family witches, here are the signs. Some of the signs for you to understand that in our family there are family witches, there are family calamities.